Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Thank you so much for joining me once again for another show, and a big, huge thank you to miskatonicbooks.com for sponsoring the show. Thank you so much. Miskatonicbooks.com are a fantastic resource. If you don't know them yet, go and check them out at miskatonicbooks.com. They are just the biggest online repository of esoteric books. If you're looking for difficult to find, rare esoteric and occult books that maybe have been published in only 1 or 2 copies, or just, maybe 100 copies, something along those lines, from independent publishers, publishers who care a lot more about the content of the books that they produce than about them being, selling millions and millions of copies, and therefore can only really afford to print a few copies at a time, then miskatonicbooks.com are the place to find those little hidden gems. If you go and check out their website, I'm sure you'll find many things to love, but one of the things that you'll find are some exclusives. So, for example, Frater Acher, the very well loved and certainly very well respected Frater Acher, has recently published a new book called Mutabor. I've been talking about it the past couple of shows already, and it has now been released. All the 72 copies that were printed have all been sold out. There were a few that were published, that were, made available to sale through miskatonicbooks.com. You can see over here that is already out of stock. It's only been available for like 2 or 3 days, but it went out of stock pretty much as soon as it became available. And then, of course, Courtyard Books also had a few copies. They're also all out of stock. But this leads me to my first news item, of course. Mutabor is available. The text is available directly via Paralibrum, which is the occult book reviewing website that is created and led mostly by Frater Acher. I say mostly because I'm assuming he's not alone here, but I think it's essentially his project. There we go. So if you head over to paralibrum.com, you'll be able to find all the details of his book Mutabor, and you'll also see the description of the editions, but you'll also be able to find the digital edition that you can decide how much to contribute for, right? So Frater Acher, he makes these amazing texts available to us, and so it's up to you to decide how much you'd like to send him in exchange for the text itself, right? A digital download of the text, and you can change the amount to anything you like. Of course, these are some suggested amounts, which is really quite cool. Here's some close-up views of Mutabor, which is clearly really very, very beautiful. That's not the only thing that's happened this week through Miskatonic Books. If we just scroll down a little bit, we will find a post, here we go, about offering to Isis, knowing the goddess through her sacred symbols, by M. Isidora Forrest. So this is an Azoth Press, and Azoth Press is basically Miskatonic Books' own imprint. The title will be offered in both limited edition hardcover and deluxe leather-bound edition in custom tray case. Here we go. Offering to Isis introduces you to the theory and practice of Egyptian offering rites. Then it provides new rituals inspired by the ancient rites that you can use in making offering today. The act of offering weaves the connection between human and divine and human. It is an active form of ritual prayer that enables us to participate directly in the creative energy of the universe and in the sacred and living magic of the great magician goddess Isis. I've been talking about how badly we need some kind of seminal praxis book for Isis. I mean, obviously Jack Grail's amazing Hekateon is that for Hecate. Why isn't there one for Isis? It seems like we might be about to get one. I'm very, very excited for this, folks. Modern devotion to an ancient goddess, Isis, great of magic, beautiful of wings, bright of face, making offering is one of the most ancient and important ways human beings communicate with our deities, hallowed by tradition and empowered by magic. Offering was vital to the worship of ancient Egyptian deities. It is just as important to those who wish to honor those ancient deities today. With offering to Isis as your guide, you can develop your own deep relationship with one of the most enduring, beloved, and magical goddesses of all time, the Egyptian goddess Isis. There we go. So this is a look at the cover. And yeah, if you just head over to miskatonicbooks.com, you'll be able to put in your order for the regular standard limited edition hardcover or for the leather-bound edition, which is down here over here. You can just click on that. We're not getting any kind of mock-up for that leather-bound edition quite yet, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be very, very beautiful. There we go. Okay, folks, let's move on to news from Hadean Press. I told you last week that they were going to make available an inquiry into necromancy in the near future. Well, that pre-order is now available if you head over to Hadean Press, hadean.press/products. Just use the links that I'm leaving in the description of this video, of course, and it'll take you straight to the shop, and you can choose your where you're based, and it'll change the currency to your local currency. It's a really, really nice new website for Hadean Press. I'm really impressed. I like it a lot. So yeah, an inquiry into necromancy, spirit conjuration in Western culture by Jim Baker. So yeah, of course, take a look at their preview over here, right? An inquiry into necromancy is the successor to the Cunning Man's Handbook, The Practice of English Folk Magic, 1550 to 1900. It expands upon the chapters on conjuration to offer a chronicle of intentional magical interaction with spirits of all sorts, ghosts, elementals, demons, angels, and God, from the Graeco-Egyptian rituals of antiquity to the postmodern diversity of contemporary evocatory magic. Through consideration of the expository magic and functional magic of antiquity, the development of concepts of the soul and spirits in the ancient Greece and early Christianity serve as an anchor for this temporal voyage of conjuration. There we are. I'll let you read all the rest over here. Looking very, very cool indeed. So that is an inquiry into necromancy, Jim Baker, and of course the pre-orders are available right now. Let's see if we've got any details of the. You can read all the chapter headers over here. Some very exciting stuff. I'm sure you'll agree. Oh my word. And yeah, I'm sure there are details over here about the construction of the book, what you can expect from the literally the what the hardcover is like, you know, but yeah, at least there usually is that information described over here. Yes, here it is. Bound in graphite, Wibbelin buckram with silver foiling, black head and tail bands, and a ribbon marker. Very nice. Okay. What else do we have? A couple of entries from Watkins Books, who have brought in a couple of independently published books here. One from Abraxas Publishing and Antiquarian, and I do actually recommend going to check out Abraxas Publishing and Antiquarian on Facebook. They don't seem to have an online store, but they post about their publications on their Facebook page, and you can just email them to make inquiries. I think they're based somewhere in Europe. I can't remember where, I'm afraid. However, these books, Tannhauser, A Story of All Time, are available through Watkins Books, and they do have a web store, so you'll it's definitely the simplest way of going about picking up one of these. So this is a facsimile edition. Let's see, Crowley finished Tannhauser in Kandy, Ceylon in the beginning of 1900s during a period when he and his mentor Alan Bennett were in middle of intense yogic practices. The book is Crowley's take on the 13th century legend of Minnesänger Tannhauser. In Crowley's dramatic version, which he referred to as the History of the Soul, the traveling Rosicrucian poet journeys in the world of gods, men, and demons in search of truth and harmony. Through Tannhauser's reflections, the book explores complex themes such as the clash between earthly passions and spiritual aspirations, foreshadowing the conflicts and transformations Tannhauser experiences throughout the story. The drama reflects Crowley's fascination with mysticism and the interplay of earthly desire and divine inspiration. Though, okay, of course, I'd expect the UGH there. Though overlooked at its time, Crowley's Tannhauser play grew later into a seminal text in the Thelema and the OTO. So that's available as a facsimile, and it looks very beautiful. Very, very beautiful indeed. I kind of want to be in London right now. All right, so that's available directly from Watkins. Again, I'll leave a link directly to the Watkins shop. I'll just give you a little preview of what that looks like there. Here we are, and you can do a little bit more browsing while you're in that lovely, lovely shop. And then the second one that caught my attention this week from Watkins Books, of course, is the AOS Psychogeographia Zossiana, the Zos map of, or AOS, excuse me, Osman Spare map of London, featuring Alan Moore, Gavin Semple, and art by Ben Thompson. A unique guide to Austin Osman Spare's London with maps in the book, including one gatefold. Moore discusses his enduring fascination for Spare in relation to mystical and daily London history. During a taxicab tour around Southwark, he investigates the Cockney milieu of Spare, and he examines works in the exhibition, discussing the magical implications of Spare's art and how it nourishes him as a writer and a magician. Very, very cool indeed. And look how beautiful this edition is. I think many people will be very excited for this one. Oh, how lovely! That's clearly in the shop storefront of Watkins Books in Cecil Court in London. Very nice, very, very nice indeed. Okay, links to the shop for this particular book down in the description as well. Okay, this one, William Blake's Notebook, is available through SP Books, who are specialists in publishing manuscripts, right? So they take classic books and they get the original manuscript, so you can get Alice in Wonderland, like literally C.S. Lewis's handwritten manuscript, right? Which is very, very cool. This is William Blake's Notebook, gilded edition, numbered 1 to 1000. They tend to be a little bit pricey, but they are beautiful, beautiful books, and it's just really nice to have those original workings, get that insight into the artist's mind, into the creator's mind, into his creative process, right? From zero onwards, and it comes with this very nice slipcase. I think that's really, really lovely. I think it's Kurt Ward who recommended that. Thank you so much, Kurt. That's very, very cool. So yeah, that's William Blake's notebook. Very cool. Couple of items that I spotted on Amazon. The first one is Shani Oates's. So this is it's a new a reprint of a new edition of an original that came out about a decade ago, I guess. This is Tubal's Mill, a legacy lived through the round of life, a history of the Robert Cochrane tradition. So I found that the description here wasn't particularly helpful. So it's a very interesting quotation from the book. Nevertheless, it didn't do very much to describe what's actually in the book. For that, I would rather refer you. Actually, I'm not sure what is on the back here. Possibly something. Yeah, unless it's exactly the same thing as what's on the back over here. No, what I would actually recommend that you do would be to go and check out the older edition, Tubal's Mill, The Round of Life from 2016. Which is also similar number of pages. Actually, it's just that it describes what's in the book quite clearly. A candid autobiography spanning 5 decades of the clan of Tubal Cain's challenges since its establishment through its founder Robert Cochrane. So, if you're interested in Robert Cochrane and that is the amazing tradition that he instigated and put together, led nowadays, of course, by the wonderful Shani Oates. Then this is a perfect way of getting introduced to the clan of Tubal Cain's ideas and history. Right, very, very nice indeed to have a new edition of that in print. Right, what else do we have? We've got banishing spells, rituals, and more. Everything a witch needs to banish. Traditional banishing spells, rituals, recipes, and more. Real banishing spells. West mini spell books. Collection book 1. Long title there. Have you? Are you ready to learn real witchcraft? In banishing spells, rituals, and more, you'll learn real traditional spells, recipes, and much more. Now you can learn how to really cut a cord, how to create your own puppet, how to create a mirror box, and so much more. I guess the puppet might land under the heading more. I don't know how creating a puppet is the same thing as a banishing, but anyway. It's recommended for beginner witches to experienced practitioners. This book is meant to help you banish negative or toxic energy, people, situations, etc. I suppose from that perspective, yes, you could potentially be banishing a toxic person. All right, so we get 30 banishing recipes, 15 different banishing methods, 30 banishing spells and rituals, beginner and advanced level. Beginner puppet pattern and information, guides for beginners, colors, carrier oils, candle shapes, etc. There we go. Recipes going back over 300 years, giving you real spells, traditional methods, recipes, and so on and so forth. You probably already know whether this is one for you. It's available in Kindle format and paperback, which is quite cool. So this is a course that I spotted. So it's called Spirit Diplomacy, and it's a guy called Alexander Moore. I don't know Alexander Moore, I don't think. Of course I do. What am I talking about? This is practicaloccult.com. I'm sorry, Alexander. I mostly know Alison Tchaikovsky, of course, from practicaloccult.com. So Alexander Moore is Alison's counterpart, who also runs practicaloccult.com. So that's very, very cool. So it's a 3-part course for people, occultists, who hear their peers saying things like, my spirit told me X, or I spoke to my spirits the other day, or even I saw this spirit of mine and it looks like this. This factor in magic seems at once ubiquitous and untenable for so many. The frustration that follows this, the half answers many give as to the nature of not just training to perceive spirits, but the proper methods to foster real relationships, is understandably upsetting. We at Practical Occult see this issue and are doing our best to answer it in a 3-part course on spirit diplomacy. This course in 3 lessons will take the student through the no-nonsense training methods with a realistic time frame and accessible staging so that anyone from any level can benefit from what is presented and enhance their spirit perception and thus the magic in their lives. Many different modalities will be discussed, including how to determine which forms this takes for the individual and how to branch out from that with realistic, honest, and hard-won wisdom from the instructor. There we go. So this course series describes methods that, much like physical exercise, must be routinely upkept and practiced. One starting point, whether brand new or somewhat experienced, must be taken into account. This will not produce results overnight, of course. Probably. This will produce results for the diligent and determined. That's going for $150 US. All classes are pre-recorded, approximately 1 hour each. Sounds pretty nice, right? So yeah, go and check out Alexander Moore's Spiritual Diplomacy course, 3-part course in enhancing spirit perception. There we are. Good. We've got news from Aiden Wachter. I'm always very excited to share news from one of my favorite practitioners, Aiden Wachter. He's got a new website and everything about it is great. As I say, anything related to Aiden Wachter is usually great. Magic is a tool set for navigating our world. So you can read a little bit about Aiden's overall philosophies and so on. You can check out his 3 books, a description of his 3 books, which are some of the most recommended books on my bookshelves. They're usually being borrowed by someone because I've told someone that they absolutely have to read it. They're fantastic, absolutely fantastic for anyone, whether you're a beginner or you've got 50 years of practice behind you. Yeah, read Aiden Wachter's books. But more to the point, yes, sure, go and check out his Patreon, support him, support his work if you know him, and if you don't, get to know him and then support him on Patreon. But this was a resource that I really appreciated. His interviews. He's been interviewed by many great podcasters, and it's a fantastic repository of great magical know-how, getting an insight into his way of thinking about reality and magic in general. It's going to be interesting for everyone, useful for most. Really very, very good stuff indeed. Get a couple of Glitch Bottle podcasts here as well. And you know that wherever the Glitch Bottle stamp of approval appears, you know that you can trust that, right? So yeah, great stuff indeed from Aiden Wachter. Looking forward to a next book, maybe, Aiden. Let us know. Keep us updated. Good. We've got some Talismans, an Italian producer. Let me just use the Google Chrome feature to translate into English over here so I can show you exactly what's going on. We produce talismans and amulets according to the medieval magical and astrological traditions, from the choice of materials to the composition of elixirs for ritual fumigations. We strictly adhere to the fundamental texts of this ancient art. That doesn't happen very often. The only company that I know who does that to the letter is Sphere and Sundry, of course, right? They are based in the US. The shipping can be a little expensive for people living in Europe or outside of the US. But yeah, so it's just nice to have another Europe-based creator who is taking the process of creating talismans as seriously is just really, really nice to see. So there are a couple of series so far, if I understand correctly. There is a Mercury and Virgo talisman series, and then there's a Sirius talisman series. They're very beautiful. So if you check these out, they're just very, very pretty indeed. You can click on any of them that appeal to you, and check out the chart under which that talisman was created, which will give you an idea of whether that is the right chart for you. Okay, or the right talisman for you. Good. And then we've got valhere.com, who, let me just go back a step here. So Experience the Past, I think they're based in Estonia. I think that's right. Wherever you are, they ship worldwide, and they create these amulets based on traditional Norse designs. There we go. So if you click on View More, you'll be able to see the various amulets available. You can see that they are available in various metals. What would be really cool would be to be taken to a page with all of their amulets, right? And not just taken directly to this particular one, but if you hover over here, over Jewellery, you'll be able to go to God Amulets. There we go, and then you'll be able to see the various gods, which are very, very pretty. As I say, they're available in different materials. I think you can buy them in silver or bronze, I guess. Possibly, is it bronze or is it brass? Possibly. Let's see what else there is. Mjolnirs, sure, and then pendants. There we go, a couple of interesting looking pendants there, traditional Norse pendants. And under silver, we've got amulets and bracelets. So these are the silver versions. Is that right? Or are they just simply silver? Are they all silver? Maybe they're all silver. I don't know. Okay, and then bracelets. Yeah, they're quite pretty as well, aren't they? Clearly mixed materials. Okay. A couple of events to point you towards. So this one is actually happening at this time next year. So an entire year in the future. Just want to bring it to your attention so that you can mark it off in your diary if you're interested. I'm excited by the fact that both Sarah Mastros and BJ Swain are going to be presenting here. So that's the magic, so Changing Times, Changing Worlds, or CTCW for short. Actually, the website itself is called ctcw.net. Magic and Metaphysics Conference. So that's November 21st to November 23rd, 2025. I guess we'll get a lot more information, more details in the future. However, if you want to secure a spot, then you can click here to register. That's happening at the Courtyard by Marriott in Cromwell. CT, is that Connecticut? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. My US geography is possibly not as good as it should be. There we go. So this year's theme hasn't actually been announced yet, so it's very early days yet. What is less early days is the Witches' Winter Festival, a 2-day magical gathering on Yuletide witchcraft, seasonal rituals, and sacred renewal. And that's happening December 12th and 13th, and that's all online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world. And you can get your tickets for $27, and this is also led by Sarah Mastros. 13 days to go at the time of recording this. So yeah, have a look at the schedule here. It looks very cool indeed. Embracing winter's warm by Elise Wells, Reborn in Flames in the Long Night by Azrael Flame, Winter Self-Care Magic with Wendy Mata, Energy Forecast for 2025 by Ivo Dominguez Jr. Sarah Mastros is doing Exploring 2025 with the Tarot, and then many, many more. You can check those out. So that's at bruja.us. I'll leave links down in the description for you guys. It's very, very nice. And then finally, my board game of the week is Tales of the Arabian Nights 40th Anniversary Edition. So this is a game that I've kind of been curious about for the past 20 years, that I've known about it, but it's always been out of print. So it's now going to be back in print. The idea is that it is a story-driven experience. It's not really a game where you're competing against each other. You're basically going through a story, and it's mostly based around this story book. You are going around on a map, and if I remember correctly, there is some dice chucking, but mostly it's reading from this storybook. I recommend checking out the little YouTube video that goes along with it. There was another one that was either released very recently or announced very recently. I'm not sure if it's actually out yet. It's essentially the same thing, created by the same people, in the world of Arthurian Knights. So again, very rich setting, plenty of opportunities for great adventures, and perfect for storytelling experiences, right? Multiplayer storytelling experience. It sounds really, really cool to me. There we go. That's what I've got for you this week, folks. Thank you ever so much once again for joining me, for watching all the way through, for hitting the like button if you did enjoy the video, and thank you for subscribing if you have indeed subscribed. If you haven't subscribed yet, and if you'd like to see more videos like this one, then hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to support the channel, then the Patreon is really always the best way. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one conversation with me where I read your tarot and we talk about your life and experiences and spiritual path and the ways ahead for you, and whatever you'd like to talk about, really, then the links to do that are down below in the description as well, and in the pinned comment. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. See you very soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. For those of you who are members, who are actually watching this on Thursday, 28th of November, then happy Thanksgiving to you if you are celebrating Thanksgiving. And to everyone else watching on Friday, I hope you're managing to avoid the crowds on Black Friday. There we go. Take care of yourselves, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.